Hello. Hi, everybody. Um, all right. I got some great stuff planned for you tonight. However, I have one tiny little glitch. Should we call it a glitch? Let's call it a glitch. I've been burning a lot of candles lately. Go figure, right? I mean, Mercury retrograde at the beginning of the freaking year with Mars in retrograde. Was that nice? Was that nice? I don't know. Who do I talk to? Who planned this? I mean, this is ridiculous. So I've been burning a lot of black candles. So we are going to have to pretend tonight in this little presentation that this candle with the star on it is a black candle. But I'm going to keep reminding you of that because I am completely out of black candles. I have one black candle up here, but it's actually a new moon candle. So I didn't really want to use it, It's really great. Well, hello, Angie. How are you? Yes. Well, Mercury's messing with everything, lady. It is. So I'm so excited about tonight because I have spent the last half hour listening to my guides and I have rewritten a spell. And it's so new, I haven't even put it in my spell book. It's still in the like sketchy, like trying to tune things up notebook before it goes into the it's done spell book. Do you like how I have these really technical terms for my stuff? I know. So, cord cutting. I have several things I want to tell you. First of all, um, let me find my yarn. Well, it's not even yarn; it's thread. So I have a bunch of colors of thread that I just want you guys to see like what you can use. You can pretty much use like any color. Well, not just any color, but there's definitely some colors that you need to have for sure. Um so I believe God, what kind of a mess did I make? Seriously. Okay. So I want to illustrate to you what I've got. The where did I put mine? Okay. So the reason why I'm using some of the colors, hey Alethea, why I have some of the colors that I do, um, I have some explanations of what I'm using. So tonight for my cord cutting for my personal one, I'm using gold or yellow. Then I'm using gray and I'm using black. Can you guys see that? I can switch this so you guys can see better. I don't know which you would rather see, like my giant mess down here or my face. Um, so these are the colors that I have chosen because the cords that I'm cutting are not ones of passion. If there is a cord that you're cutting that is passion, or it has been passionate, hey Catlin, if there's a cords that you're cutting that has had passion in it, I recommend using red. Okay. Um, I know. I love it. These two BFFs are here. Angie and Alethea. It's gonna be a BFF fest tonight. I also put them together in a braid. Now, I did this because I want to illustrate again. I'm trying to teach you how to do this, and I'm showing you how to do this so that you can put your own imprint on it, so that you can put your own spin on it. You can make this yours, how this is important to you. Some people wouldn't even like it doesn't matter if it's passionate or not, what the cord that you're trying to cut. If you're trying to cut cords from, I don't know, sweets, which is a thing, it is. If you're trying to cut cords from sweets, if you're trying to cut cords from a place that you um like was just very detrimental to your mental health or your past. If you're trying to cut cords from a person, which is the most common one, right? Um, this is what we want to do is like pick a color that means something to you about that relationship. This particular relationship that I'm trying to cut cords from presented itself as like gold. It presented itself as something that was uh that was a very healthy thing in my life, that it was really, really great. And it turns out it wasn't. So, as you see, we start out with the, let's call it fool's gold. Oh, God, I'm so fun, right? So, we start out with the gold, then it started to lose its luster, right? It started to go south. Then it got really, really toxic. Do you see where I'm going with these chords? How I did it this way? So it doesn't matter what the first color you use. You need to pick this color representing that thing, that person, place, or thing. I, I ever since my son and I were studying nouns, now I refer to everything as a person, place, or thing. Is that I'm just it's just so weird. I'm sorry. So so what we have here is you pick the color that you want. Now, the other thing is that I'm using this string because we've been making bracelets. So I have a lot of this string. Um and that's what I'm using it for. You can also use yarn, you can use thread. I mean, honestly, you can rip up t-shirts into strips and use it. Hey, Amber Melanie. Um you can I mean, whatever you think is appropriate, okay? And to be honest with you, I have used t-shirts. I like t-shirts that I've gotten from organizations, or t-shirts that I've gotten from, companies that I worked for or whatever. If I wanted to separate myself from them, I have used those t-shirts. And the strips that I use, again, is usually like some sort of t-shirt cloth. I go from the main color to gray, because gray symbolizes to me that it's lost its luster. So if you're using like red per se, because it's a passionate relationship, maybe you go to a really, really dull red, or maybe you go to um, oh my gosh, where are all my friends that are Alabama and South Carolina fans tonight? Because you could use those reds, the South Carolina Gamecocks and the Alabama Crimson Tide. I'm so twisted, but I love my SEC. I love my SEC rivalry so much, so much. So, but then we want to go from the chord in the middle. That's where it's lost its luster. It's no longer this fantastic thing. It's no longer this happy thing that we found first, right? It's lost its luster. It's getting bad, right? Then we move to the black. Now, I have had a client that chose green for this, and I get that. She chose green for her last chord because she felt like that was toxic to her. She felt like that was bilious. That's exactly what she said. She felt like it was bilious. She felt like it was it was like gangrene. And I was like, gangrene is black. And she goes, yeah, but that's not what it is in my head. So I get that. So really, whatever chord color you want at the end, I just recommend that this chord, I recommend black because most of us see that as toxic, even though black is not really toxic, right? I mean, it depends on what it is. But black in this instance, for this chord, is supposed to represent toxicity. It's supposed to represent the bad, right? It's the shadow. The But the middle chord and the end chord don't have to be gray and black, but I wanted to give you something that was a very, like, clear illustration. So, I did it this way because I'm going to show you one way of doing it with these 3 chords tied together so that you can see beginning, middle, and end. Hey, Robin! And then I did it this way so that you could see maybe your relationship was intertwined. Maybe the relationship with that person, place, or thing had its moments, like both good and bad, like all at the same time. That's also a real possibility. How many narcissists do we know like that? I know a lot that they'll feel you pulling away and they show their good side. Then they pull in a bad side because they're in a bad place. They feel you pulling away, so they pull in something good. They do something good. I, how often do we see this? Right? It's crazy. So I did it like this to show you that there's more than one way to cut these cords. Again, the actual colors don't matter. What matters is that you are showing that there was a beginning that's really fantastic, super awesome, a middle that's and an end that's kind of shitty. Excuse my language. I don't want to get like I don't want to get censored. Okay. So all of these colors are permissible. Do you see that? But one of my clients, she chose the green and it was a kind of green like this. And she goes, "No, that looks toxic to me." And I applaud her. I'm like, "You do whatever you got to do because this has to have your intention in it. And if these colors don't mean anything to you, your intention's not going to be there." Is everybody with me? You see what I'm saying? It's good times. Okay, so now that we've got the thread sorted out, I like doing this on a Cancer full moon, which is what we have tonight, tomorrow night. Well, it hits its pinnacle tomorrow. Tonight, tomorrow night, and technically Saturday. So I like and the full moon isn't in Cancer on Saturday, but still in the full moon. But tonight and tomorrow night, definitely Cancer full moons. And I think that this is a fantastic time to do this because Cancer is a very nurturing sign. It's ruled by the moon. It's definitely has that like the feminine aspect. Not that everybody here is a woman. I don't know who all's in the chat. I only see a few of you that have posted over here. And I see like 8 people like in I can only see if you post something. So, but it doesn't matter if you're male or female. The Cancer moon is like that that nurturing energy. And I think this is a really great time to do this. Also, the Libra full moon because it's ruled by Venus and that's relationships. And Libras are all about relationships. You know, they like to keep balance in relationships. So we're doing good. Okay. So wait, let me see. Where do I need to go? Okay, full moon Cancer. Okay, so when we burn this thread, there's a couple of things. When we burn this thread, which we are going to burn at the end, if you cannot burn outside, all right, I think I'm done with that demonstration. Okay, if you cannot burn outside, if you live in an apartment building or a city or something like that and you can't burn outside, that's okay. Burn your stuff in a fire safe bowl or plate or container of some kind and burn it near a window. When you burn these threads, that's what you want to do is burn it near a window because you do not want that kind of smoke in your house because we are cutting cords here. This is cord cutting energy. So on that note, we also don't want to put the ash from these cords into our smudge. You know how I'm always telling you guys, hey, put the ash from your incense into your smudge, right? This is not one of those things. No. The ash from this has to be buried if you can, and it needs to be buried off of your property. Off of your property. If you cannot do that, then flush it down the toilet. However, you cannot flush it down the toilet if you live in an old house with a septic tank. Why? Because it stays on your property. So, if you don't have a place where you can put it out readily or quickly, like outside of your property, then take it somewhere else. Take it to like a park or a stream, and throw it into something else. Do you see what I'm saying? Oh, that's awesome, Angie. I'm excited to do something with my beach sand and incense ashes. I'm saving it for something good. Oh my gosh, Angie, that's really great. Flush it at the park. That's always a good thing. You can take it to like a forested area and just like pitch it, bury it, whatever, if you can. That's really fantastic. But you just don't want to keep it on or around your stuff. We are cutting cords from you. You don't want to keep that cord cutting energy on your, in your life. Do you see what I'm saying? So this is very good. This is very good. Why did I get? All right, let me put all the string back. I do have a lot. Okay. Okay, so what we're going to do is I also do part of this when I void items. Now, I know that sounds weird, but sometimes people will keep things that belong to you so that they can have ties to your energy. We don't do that here, people, do we? No. So, but people will use this for naughty things. So, I also I void items for my clients. When they call me and they're just like, not really sure, think this person has like something of mine, something personal, we can void those items. You can void those things. So, you can also use it's pretty much the same spell. If you want to clear items that are no longer in your possession of your energy, and I'm not talking about things that you've given away with love, like the things that you've given to your mother or your kids or your grandchildren or your grandmother or, whatever that you've given away with love. But what you want to say is things that are like no longer in my control, things that I have not willingly given away. Those are words that you can use. Something that has been taken away from me without my knowledge, those kind of things. And you want to cut your energy from those things. If you gave something to someone and you are no longer close with that person, you can cut cords with that item. I have done it because I've given away things that I've made to people, things that I'm just like, okay, yeah, I loved making that. I put a lot of great, energy. I put a lot of stuff into it. So I, consciously did this thing for them. And when I pulled back from that relationship, I want to cut the cords from that item because I don't want them having my good vibrations around anymore. They don't need my stuff. So, hey Kelsey. So what we're doing here is really it will seem intense, and I'm going to also be honest with you. You may have to repeat this because some of these cords are deep. If you're cutting cords from a family member, that's deep. If you are cutting cords from somebody that you were in a relationship with for like 20 years, that's deep. So you may have to repeat this process, and you may have to repeat it more than once. I don't I don't know. I don't know how strong it is. I don't know how strong your tie is. And I tried to write this spell in such a way so that if people are cord cutting and they're cutting cords with someone that maybe they were married to, but they had kids with, I want them to cut the cords with that person and not accidentally cut some cords with their children, because that's a no-no. We don't wanna do that. So I tried to write this in such a way because now, like, as a mother, that's how I'm thinking. I'm like, "Oh god, no, I don't wanna do that." So that's where I tried to write this from, coming from that direction. Now, you get all of your crystals, things that make you feel comfortable, things that make you feel secure, crystals, um, herbs, whatever. And I'm not putting any specifics on this because I want you to explore, I want you to see what you need. The only thing that I would really truly recommend having is some rosemary, some sage, because the whole thing here is that we want to protect ourselves while we're doing this, but we also want to purify. We want to keep everything clean, we want to purify it. Okay. And anytime we use sage in any way, shape, or form, we have to have something to counteract it, because sage erases, it takes out, which is great. It does what it's supposed to do. It clears, it cleanses, and we need something to replace that energy. Why? Because nature abhors a vacuum. Now, because we have two of my essential oil people, Alethea, see, I knew you were going to say that. Two of my essential oil gurus in the house. You can also use essential oils for this. In fact, you can anoint your candles, even your threads, your strings, your yarn, your t-shirts, whatever. You can anoint them with essential oils, and it doesn't take I was about to say another ugly word. I'm really good at cussing. Um it doesn't take a lot of essential oil to anoint, right? Like 3 drops, you're good, right? You want to get the essence in. I would say like 3 to 5 if you want to anoint. Angie has another thing that I love how they're so good at this. I mean, y'all, this is the psychic sisters of essential oils. That's a lot of alliteration that I just used. So you can diffuse them in your diffuser. Mine is sitting right over here. You can diffuse them and have them in the air. Some people don't like mixing their essential oils with like different flavors, different smells. I do. I mix them all the time. I'm like just a nut. I know. I like find things that I like together and I'm like, "Oh, let's make the whole place smell like that." But some people don't like to mix it. I get it. I get it. I get it. So you could diffuse the sage and anoint with another something like rosemary or thyme. I know. So, there's some options for you. Y'all are so really good at this. Angie, Alethea, again, ladies and gentlemen, the psychic sisters of essential oils. Can y'all really see that I'm pointing to the chat? It's on the side of my screen. And I think for most of you, it's like at the bottom. Sorry. Okay, so we've got did I get it all? The thread, you can also use, here's another kicker. You can use full moon water. So if you are doing this inside because you don't have a place outside, then you can start the whole thing with the candle sitting in water. Full moon water, Cancer or Libra is personally the best, or what I think. Purify would be a good one to use. Wait, is Purify a blend? Why do I feel like I have that? Hang on. Oh no, I have Peace. Okay. Yeah, but Purify is a blend. That I like that. And doTERRA has a lot of blends that are already, like, ready to go for you. Keep that in mind. Um, what was I saying? Okay, I lost my train of thought, but this is Mercury retrograde. I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. Like, the last week has been insane. I mean, my dog having an allergic reaction, I've been, like, running around like a chicken with my head cut off. It's just crazy. I use all my dryer sheets and dryer balls. Oh, that is a good one. Oh, that's a good one. Mhm. And that might even be better than like washing all my clothes in salt, like to get rid of, because you get a lot of energy that clings to your clothes. It's not just stink, that clings to your clothes. A lot of energy that clings to your clothes. And I'll bet putting that on your dryer balls and putting it in the cycle in the dryer would really make it like clean them and make them smell good. And I wouldn't have to wash all my clothes with salt. That's a really good, thank you, Angie. After a goddess bath to lay in those sheets. Oh my gosh, this is so good. That's such a good idea. That is really awesome. Okay, so I'm also using, and this is just ritual because they're not actually knives and they don't actually cut. I'm using my selenite athame, but it is just ceremonial. It is not a knife. It's just a crystal, but you can cut with crystals. And then I am using my gold sheen obsidian, also a smaller athame, and just so what I do is I sit and imagine. I sit and bring in the imagery of me cutting cords and watching the cords sever and watching the ends dissolve until it eats up both ends. Do you see what I'm saying? Like that it's just going in that direction. So, oh my gosh. No, Alethea, I don't think that's wrong. I'll have to look at your chart again, Alethea. Mercury retrograde is a lot of fun for a lot of people. I think I'm just having the hardest time because it's just coupled with this Mars retrograde. And I, like, looking back, I've never done well with Mars retrograde. It's just, it's an unholy mess. Yeah, I'm not enjoying it. So, again, we're going to pretend like this is a black candle because Jennifer is out of black candles. I have used them up in the last couple of weeks. And then this is actually a white candle. Now, they do not have to be this big. They can still be the little votive candles. They can be in a glass jar. They don't have to be in a glass jar if you don't want them to be. That is just the color representation because we want to protect and purify. So the black is for protection and the white is for purification. That's what we're doing here. Could you just hang the thread over the crystal and burn both ends? Okay, you could, but that's not what I do. Black is for protection. And white is for purification. So what I do this is I'm cutting the shadow and the light cords because you can't just cut one cord with somebody. You can't just cut one cord with somebody because your relationship with those people is multidimensional. You have good times and bad times with them, right? Sometimes it's intermixed all the way through your relationship. Sometimes it's more spread out, that the good was only at the beginning and the bad's only at the end. You have to cut all of that. You have to cut all of that. That's why I have two of these. That's why I cut one shadow, one light. With this, we're going to cut all of them. We're going to cut the shadow, the light, and the cords in between. So what we're going to do is we're going to tie, and this is probably where I need to switch the cameras again. I'm doing good. Okay, switching the cameras again. Okay, so what we're going to do, again, I'm going to reiterate, we're going to pretend like this is a black candle for protection. Okay. And we're going to tie the candles together with the string or with the t-shirt, the threads, whatever. Tie it together, and if you have like a really long one, like you can make these as long as you want, by the way. You can wrap them around here like 3 or 4 times if that's what you want, if that's what you want to do. I did this simply to illustrate like what I'm talking about. So if you want to make these like 3 times as long and wrap them around here like a whole bunch, gun it up. I absolutely think that you should do that. So we're going to wrap it around the 2 candles though. Got our stuff done together. If you choose to, you can sit this in a bowl of water like this, and the water does need to be full moon water from Cancer or Libra. Um, just one woman's opinion. You don't even have to sit it in water if you don't want to. Okay. You can just sit them straight up. Now, what the next thing that we're going to do is, depending on how big your cords are, you're going to cut it thread by thread. I mean, not like this is like a bundle. See, look. Do you see how many, like, I'm not talking about cutting each individual of those little threads. I'm talking about cutting color by color. All right. So if you're using yarn and it's like really big and thick, we're just going to cut one color at a time. So what you want to do is we're going to say this. Now this is again what I just wrote. So this is the warts and all draft. Am I going to have to get my glasses on? I don't have to get my glasses on. Well, maybe not. I write really big. Okay, I cut these cords that hold me back, all toxic thoughts and attacks. I cut these cords in this time and place. No more shall you invade my space. I cut these cords to set me free, to embrace a life meant for me. I cut these cords that have kept me bound. I release it all with a mind that's sound. I cut these cords to leave you behind so that I may claim what is mine. I send no ill. Oh, I'm sorry. I skipped a line. I cut these cords to say at last, I will move beyond my past. Lessons learned here is all I take with me. I send no ill will or harm towards thee. As I will, so mote it be. And you know how I am. And yes, I will email this to you. If you want this, and if you are listening to this in the reruns, you'll have to email me at metaphysicalroundtable@gmail.com. Please forgive me. I am still waiting through emails from a week ago. I am going to get back to everybody. Please give me a few days, but I will get this typed up and I will email this to you. Okay? Because as I said, I just finished writing it. So after you say, as I will, so mote it be, I always clap 3 times. Some people ring a bell. Some people, it's whatever is right for you. This is your practice. So I clap 3 times. That's my thing. Did I say it? Metaphysicalroundtable@gmail.com. Yeah, I did. Okay. So what we're going to do then is we are going to cut each cord. So I'm starting with the yellow and I'm cutting it. Okay. You don't have to cut the gray in the same place, just as long as you cut the gray cord. And then we're going to cut the black cord. You see how they all fell apart? You see how they came apart? Now we're going to take these and we are going to burn them. We're going to burn them. Let the ash like get it really good and like burned up. If you need to put, oh my gosh, Angie, you are so sweet. Thank you for posting that. Put the ash Like, make sure that it's really getting burned, make sure that it's burning down. If you need to add something to it to help it burn a little more, I would say some paper, like little strips of paper to help it really go and burn, to burn down. Whatever you put in with it, make sure that it is nothing that has like your name on it, nothing that has to be removed from your house or discard it somewhere nearby, then flush it down the toilet. If you live in a house with a septic tank, do not flush it down the toilet. Okay? If you can, take it out to like a park or a wooded area or something and toss it back into the earth. Dig a little hole if you can and bury it. But get rid of it and do not put it on your property and do not flush it down your toilet if you're on a septic tank. Um oh yeah, and I want to show you this the same way with this. And I want to tell you, if you wrap these around like several times, which I think is kind of cool. I did I taught this class so long ago. Um, and one of my clients, she must have wrapped those candles, she must have wrapped around like, I don't know, 50 times. She just kept going and she was like, "No, I'm getting this asshole out." And I'm like, "Okay." I just went, "All right." So however many times you want to wrap it around, if you want to cut like 6 feet of this stuff and wrap it around, whatever. No, do not put it in a fire pit on your property because that ash stays in your property and there's good uses for that ash from your fire pit in your property. There's good uses for that. You can make black salt with that, Angie. Don't put this in a fire pit on your property. This energy does not need to stay with you. But the same goes here. If you do the 3 colors, the one color, then the middle color, then the toxic color, you're going to cut it the same way. You're going to start first with the colorful one, then we're going to move to the dingy, and then we're moving to the black. I am only illustrating this with short amounts of cord because I wanted you guys to see it. You can cover these things up. Just wrap, wrap, wrap. I do recommend leaving the candles burning for as long as you can. Again, if you have to go to work or if you, I know at least one person in the chat works night shift. If you have to go to work, you don't have to leave these burning overnight. It's okay. But an hour at least after you finish burning the cord, after you finish burning the threads, the yarn, t-shirt material, whatever it is, after you finish burning that, then leave it going for maybe like an hour. The candles, and that way you still have that protection and purification energy going after these have been burned. Then make sure they're gathered up. Don't leave that ash in your house, on your property. We need to get it out. Okay. So, and it's not going to cause harm. It's not going to cause harm to like your neighbor's yard. It's not going to cause harm to the forest. It's not going to cause harm to the city water. It only is going to cause harm to you because these are your cords. Do you see what I'm saying? It's not like that. You have to get rid of them right away. As soon as you can, Angie, it would be best. It would be, "Hey Gretchen, how are you?" As soon as you can, Angie. Um, like, don't wait a day. Like, if you have to wait, like, a couple hours or something, that's fine. That's why you want to do this when you really can, like, do the whole kit and caboodle, when you really can, like, sit your focus on it. Does that make sense? Okay. I'll just repeat this one more time so that everybody can hear it. Again, if you yeah, burn in the morning, go to the park at noon. That's good. That's good. We definitely I want to say this again. We definitely want to do this in a full moon. If you can't do it in a Cancer full moon or a Libra full moon, that's okay. You don't need to wait to cut cords. You don't need to wait until that Cancer or Libra full moon rolls around. Cut the cords. Just it would be great to do it at a full moon because then you can spend the next 14 days releasing. Oh, yeah, and have a big culmination at the new moon of just let it go. Yeah, and during that time, if you feel like you need to repeat it, that's a good time to repeat it because the moon is waning. Does this make sense? Yeah, I know. It's important to do this like when the moon's like good. Okay, I'm gonna repeat this one more time. Okay, my messy little spell thing. Let's yeah. Okay. I cut these cords that hold me back, all toxic thoughts and attacks. I cut these cords in this time and place. No more shall you invade my space. I cut these cords to set me free, to embrace a life meant for me. By the way, you can also put in there instead of path, you can put instead of life, you can put path. So to embrace a path meant for me, it's in my notes. I cut these cords that have kept me bound. I release it all with a mind that's sound. I cut these cords to leave you behind so that I may claim what is mine, a life that's mine. Yeah, no, so that I may claim what is mine. I, s- um, I cut these cords to say at last, I will move beyond my past. Lessons learned here is all I take with me. I send no ill will or harm towards thee. As I will, so mote it be. Yeah. Can I spray paint a votive cup black? Okay, Angie, you are so funny. Are no, it actually needs to be a black candle. Not like the outside of it. This was just I just did this like as an example because I'd already written on this candle for another demonstration. Um, it actually needs to be a black candle. That's so good. I love that. I'm I'm just teasing. I just think that you can spray the outside of it. But that does make the candle holder is black, and I get that. You're just so creative. I love it. Is creativity a requirement if you're selling like doTERRA stuff? Oh, okay, wait a minute. I have um we've got a person in here. All right, so that person Moses gift that's a spam. Hang on, I'm getting rid of them. Dang it. We were doing so good too. Okay, I'm kicking him out. Oh crap, hang on. Okay, report and spam. Submit. Um Block. Okay. All right, so that there's a spam alert in there. Moses gift. Please ignore that. Sorry. Sorry. Gretchen, it's so good to see you. Um, okay. I think I got rid of him. Pretty sure. Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah. I know, Angie, I gotta go shopping too because I'm slap out of black candles. I have burned protection candles for so many people in the past couple of weeks. I've been burning them for me. When the dog had the allergic reaction, I was like burning it for her. And of course, like I'm like driving her to the vet, flipping out in my head. So yeah, it was kind of crazy, wasn't it, Jasmine? I don't know where she is. So I've been, doing a lot, but we've got to, yeah, but definitely use a black candle. I love it. But I seriously, Angie, I'm not kidding. I love the creativity of the essential oil people. I mean, I think that's a requirement of essential oil like gurus is that you've got to be creative with it. You've just got to have some creativity in your life. Well, hello, Veronica. The other thing that I do want to make sure that you guys know about is the lovely Carrie Rodriguez from the Beautiful Witch La Hermosa Bruja has these awesome little wands that she has created with black kyanite and like little tiny evil eye beads on there. And yes, the dollar store has them. Yes, yes, because that's where I get a lot of my stuff. You know, I just charge them. Um, I mean, I just cleanse them and then charge them for what I want them to be. But, she has some awesome little wands. It has black kyanite on the end of it, and it's, like, wired, and it has some evil eye in there. Those are fantastic for cord cutting as well. So I do because again, I do like to sit and after I've done this, after like while these are burning, I like to sit and imagine each end of the cord that I've just cut through with my crystals that I've sat and just hacked through. I like to imagine the ends like as they're being severed that they're sort of and this is why I've had to burn more protection candles for me because it's sometimes like it just kicks all of my cameras off. And even when I'm recording, so like on readings at the round table, if you guys ever see any of my recordings and you can't like, okay. So yeah. But white, black, red, you know, for passion, just in case. Poor Dr. Seuss. But this is a fantastic way to cut these cords. This is a great it's worked for me. And this is also one of the ways that I void items for people that they feel like their hair or something with their essence has gotten out of their hands and they're just not sure about it. You know, so you just want to make sure that sometimes items that are no longer in your care are have you've cut the cords to those items and they no longer have your essence on them. So that way people can't, you know, trace it back to you energetically, not like DNA wise. Yeah. So, um is everybody still here? Just making sure cuz when the camera's tripped out, I don't know what's going on. Except for Mercury and Mars retrograde together forever. Hey, but after January 22nd, we don't have any planets in retrograde until April 21st. Isn't that awesome? Hey, Karen. Yeah, no planets retrograde until April 21st. And I used to dread all of these retrogrades. I don't so much anymore because I do feel like there's some things that we need to heal, we need to work through. It's just the ones with like Mars and Mercury together where it's just like crazy trying to like get communication lined up. It's just no. Happy birthday, Karen. A Capricorn. That's awesome. Happy birthday. All right. So, I think that's all I have for you guys. Do you have any questions for me? Again, if you want this spell that I just finished working through, you can see all of my little working through things. Because again, I wanted to make sure that if you are cutting cords with a relationship with someone that you have children with, that you're not cutting cords to the children, just to that person. So I had to really work through this because some of the ones that I read, I just wasn't really happy with. So I wanted to make sure that this was kind of it took care of everything without separating like, parents. Cuz as parents we have different kinds of cords with our kids and I don't think unless it's toxic, I don't think those should be severed. But it's just again one woman's opinion. Um yeah, so make sure you guys email me at metaphysicalroundtable@gmail.com. And it may take me a few days because I am still working through emails from last week. But I'm getting through them. I am. It's been thankfully my kids are back in school, so it's not as busy as it has been, but I've been trying to cram everything into like a much shorter day than, you know, what I'm used to working with. And so I wouldn't be able to go to work every day until like 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And then I would have to do my clients first. And then I'm trying to do recording. But to an ex spouse or an ex that we have children with, we may not want to cut cords with our children that we have with that person. Yeah. Oh, Angie, that's great. I need to cut that you need to cut out of your life. All toxic people. Yes. That's really great. That's impressive, Angie. Because I'm the person that I don't always want to cut the cords because I'm like, what if they come back? I'm s- I mean, I can be such a sucker. What if they come back and what? But see, what I didn't understand is that at that time, what I didn't understand is by cutting those cords, we're cutting the bad stuff. So if that person comes back, we may feel differently about them, or maybe this is what gets them to change, or maybe it just helps us to move on. It's not about having them come back, you know? Yes, if you have a biological mother that is toxic with you, cut the cords. And the thing is, like, you can have unhealthy relationships with your parents. I worked with a client on this. She was like, I can't even. But her mom is very, very like detrimental, like very